stand before you to open Teze in prayer, to fully embrace the presence within. Pray with me now as letting my words speak for you. We live and belong to the heart of God. We live in the mind of God. We are a divine expression of the one, perfect, whole, and complete, worthy of all goodness and kindness and respect. I offer gratitude for this beautiful morning, crisp and clear. I offer gratitude for each one joining me in prayer this morning. I offer gratitude to our wonderful musicians, our technical crew, and our pastor, Reverend Diana. I come in full confidence knowing that the divinely inspired words spoken by Reverend Diana today will speak to our hearts in ways that will help us let go of fearlessness and embrace change and new ways of being in the world to love and serve one another. In gratitude and full confidence that this prayer is answered as it is spoken in the mind of God, I release it into the law, the loving law of God, the process of God, knowing it is done. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Chris. So we have an echo coming through our sound bar.
We do.
And so we'll resolve that quickly before we move forward. We do. It's coming right out
Turn
of
off the sound bar.
Right. Turn off the sound bar. Yeah. There we go. So welcome. Good to have you all here this morning to join us for Teze. It's getting really exciting with all of the busyness and motion it'll be just a couple weeks from now that we'll be having our first Sunday over there. So I'd like to welcome you all. Good morning. If you're new with us here this morning, either in person or online, we still have an echo coming through the sound bar. Okay. Okay. I'm the pastor and spiritual director here at Mystic Heart, and we're an independent interfaith community. We share universal principles and practical spirituality. And we welcome you to join us in exploring the guidance and wisdom of your own mystic heart.
I think your words must be very important.
They must be very important and powerful today. We have to hear them twice.
Maybe I'm supposed to listen.
Maybe. But we'll resolve it before we actually settle in, because it's distracting. All of these things are going to be resolved after we move, because our whole system's going to be wired different. We're going to have a different thing going. So I'm so excited about that. So we begin this morning our Teze with musical prayer, and we invite you to sing or chant along with us.
Whatever came before, let your own
Circle of Fire prayer based on the words of Don Miguel Ruiz. So we take a moment now to settle into the stillness, planting ourselves firmly in our seats, maybe planting our feet firmly to the ground and feeling the flow of energy moving up from the earth itself, up through the bottoms of our feet, up through our legs, and up into our bodies, bringing the life force into full awareness, allowing it to ground us, becoming fully present in the here and now. Feeling the presence of one life moving through and all around me. Sensing and knowing that I am an expression of that life. Intentionally made, here by design, as part of a vast web of consciousness of infinite intelligence that surrounds and infuses the planet. Each one of us an emanation of spirit, connected to everything and everyone with no exceptions. I am, and you are a radiant point of light. In this web, as is every human being, every animal, every plant and microbe. We are all connected. Every rock, every grain of sand and drop of water, part of one sacred whole. Each and every part of the all that is a thread in the tapestry that is creation. All necessary, all divine, all a part of the one light, the one life, the one source. And so as I sense my connection with all of life, I am empowered. As we gather together, we are empowered. Our work here is potent. Our collective prayer and meditation leave an imprint of peace, harmony, and grace on the world. We're contributing to the conscious evolution of humanity. We're contributing to the conscious evolution of the planet and all that lies beyond. By the presence of God within, we are that powerful. And so we use that power wisely. This month we're reflecting on what wild wisdom has to offer. And this morning we'll be taking a mountain view. We're so blessed living in Redding, California. To the west we see the Trinity Alps. To the north, the majestic Mount Shasta. And to the east, Mount Lassen. We're surrounded on three sides by the vast and powerful beauty of mountains. As we turn to our Sacred Mother for instruction, we realize that mountains have much to teach us. When we set out on a mountain path, there is no telling what we will find. The first lesson of the mountain is that life can be unpredictable, and that we need to be prepared, durable, flexible, and resilient. In our spiritual practice, we build our own resiliency. Through our prayer, our meditation, our study, and our deep connection, through our generous sharing of our time and talent and treasure, through our sacred service, through all of these things, we build our preparedness for the unexpected that will always arise in life. Climbing a mountain trail, we breathe deeply, becoming more aware of the breath, of our muscles, of our physical bodies. And so the mountain can bring us to greater awareness. It can teach us that there is no real destination, that it's all about the journey. And so we come to pay attention to the physical realm as we walk up the mountain trail. We notice all of the many beautiful things, the flowers and the animals, the blue sky. We come into a greater attention, not only for our own bodies, but for our physical realm. Mountains have come to symbolize a movement into higher consciousness. As we climb a mountain trail, we can feel nearer, my God, to Thee. Mountains are symbols of transformation. The climb representing the journey of becoming, where our strengths and our weaknesses are exposed. From the mountaintop, from the place of greater awareness, we gain a broader view. We can see the big picture. We can see how everything fits together. Some call this a God's eye view. Henry David Thoreau spoke to this in 1852 when he wrote, "Many people, when I tell them that I have been on a mountain, ask if I took a telescope with me. No doubt I could have seen further with such a glass, and seen particular objects more distinctly. I could have counted more meeting houses. But this has nothing to do with the peculiar beauty and grandeur of the view that an elevated position affords. It was not to see a few particular objects as if they were near at hand, as I had been accustomed to seeing them. It was not to see a few particular objects that I ascended the mountain. It was to see an infinite variety, far and near, in their relation to each other, reduced to a single picture." Mountains can represent challenges in our lives, but challenges that we are meant to overcome. They stand for persistence, consistency, constancy. They're powerful symbols of growth, transformation, and connection to the all that is. There are stories in the Christian tradition of the Rabbi Yeshua going to the mountains to teach. And the people followed him, allowed themselves to be led to higher ground, to a consciousness of love, compassion, inclusivity, and oneness. And there are stories of Jesus going to the mountains to pray, to replenish himself, to reconnect with his divinity, so that he might maintain his God's eye view and find the strength and courage to continue his journey. We have much to learn from the mountains.
We often hear the journey of spiritual growth and evolution referred to as an upward spiral. We revisit many of the same growth points again and again, but from ever higher vantage points. The situations or challenges may still be the same, but we are different, responding from a higher consciousness. When we climb a mountain trail, we don't go straight up the side. It is far too steep. Trails usually have many switchbacks, hairpin turns, and each more or less straight stretch is a segment of a spiral which, if continued, would go all the way up to the top. And we zigzag our way up, spiraling to the left, then to the right, and spiraling left again. The Cinder Cone Trail near Butte Lake in Lassen Park has very few switchbacks. We begin by spiraling up the northwest slope. When we get to the top, we circle halfway around the rim and spiral down into the crater, then back up to the rim. Then we spiral down the southeast slope, and at the base of the cone, we hike around its west side and back toward the lake. Trees cannot live on a cinder cone, so every step we climb broadens our panoramic perspective. It gives us a wider view. We can see more and more of the terrain below. Similarly, as we grow in awareness, we begin to see situations differently, more clearly, and to use our higher perspective to respond more skillfully. We all have recurring themes in our spiritual growth. Familiar circumstances that we may have thought we had outgrown, and we have, although perhaps not completely. As we share our 3 minutes of contemplation and communion this morning, I invite you to meditate about one of your own recurring themes, how you reacted in earlier instances, and then notice how your ability to respond skillfully progressed on each occasion. Consider how you might respond if and when it comes up again. O Divine Mother, Grandfather Spirit, Blessed Creator, thank you for this sacred time with you and with these blessed saints in our beloved community. Thank you for compelling us to grow through what we go through, and for leading us along the path our heart has chosen. May we never forget who and whose we are. When climbing a mountain, we often focus on the path before us. But it is important to stop occasionally and turn around, to turn back at the ever-widening view, and to acknowledge and celebrate just how far we have come. As Taizé continues this morning, we center ourselves in gratitude for Reverend Diana's wisdom and guidance, knowing that with every prayer, with each insight, we are gaining a higher perspective. We are taking a mountain view.
Once upon a time, there was an old man who began a long, steady climb up to the top of a mountain. The path was rough, as not many took the route he had chosen. It was muddy and in places slippery underfoot, and there were many jagged rocks and thorny bushes to negotiate along the way. It was raining heavily, and the clouds had descended all around him, making his journey even more difficult. His mind raced on in constant complaint, causing him much suffering as he walked. He muttered under his breath with every step, his words harsh and cruel toward himself. Yet, onward he climbed. The rain was relentless, but he kept to his chosen path. More than once his mind told him to give up, feeling hopeless, and believing that the journey wasn't worth it. Yet, onward he climbed. In time, his thoughts began to slow, and his harsh words lessened. He began to notice the clouds all around him part ever so slightly. The rain was easing. Finally, he pushed through the clouds and was greeted with a glorious blue sky, and the sun shining its beautiful warming rays upon him. A smile crept slowly to his face, his thinking mind becoming still. He saw the peak in the distance and the clouds far below, and all of a sudden he was filled with an overwhelming sense of peace, joy, and contentment as he recognized how far he had come and how close to the peak he was. The moral of the story: as humans, it is the thoughts we have that play havoc in our lives. They can cause us stress, anxiety, and suffering. To see these thoughts and our inner dialogue as no more than passing clouds in a weather system of our own making can help us let go and stop giving them so much importance and power. Because thoughts lead to feelings, which often outpicture as emotions. And emotions create chemical reactions in our bodies, which can affect our behavior, our ability to navigate effectively in our lives, and they can cause dis-ease in body, mind, and spirit. What can we learn? We can accept that, like the weather systems surrounding the mountain, like the clouds in the sky, our thoughts come and go. We need not hold on to them. We can simply let them move through without attachment. Because without the rehearsal of the stories our thoughts tell us, our feelings, emotions, and behaviors are innately peaceful. Peace is our inherent state. When necessary, we can consciously redirect our thoughts. This is where affirmative prayer and self-reflection can be helpful. So let's join in sacred practice right now. Let my words be affirmations of truth in your life. I allow the deep peace of spirit to fill me now as I settle into a state of calm, settling into the gentle cycles of the breath. Gentle, but powerful in its constancy. I reflect on the powerful presence of the One Life. I feel it moving through me now. I sense its omnipresence in the room and throughout all of what we know as space. I am most certainly a part of it, an expression of its radiant light, here on purpose, by design. I reflect on all that the mountain has to teach me. Strength, constancy, patience. No matter the storm, it will certainly pass in time. In any circumstance, all that is required is a God's eye view, a higher perspective than my own tunnel vision. I am humbled by the mountains. They are so massive, while I am so small in comparison. And yet, as I look to the mountains that surround my beautiful hometown, I'm reminded of my inherent resiliency. I'm not caught up in the workings of my thinking mind. Rather, I let my thoughts move gracefully through, without attachment. I allow myself to be taught, as those who followed Yeshua to the mountaintop. Under the mountain's steadfast instruction, I become more loving, inclusive, and generous with every day that goes by. And I spend time daily in conscious connection with my Creator, being reminded of my wholeness and my oneness with all that is. What a powerful teacher is our Sacred Mother, when I take the time to slow down and look for her wild wisdom. I'm so grateful for my growing awareness. So grateful for this space to gather with chosen family and for each one sharing this space this morning. I give thanks for the countless hours of sacred service offered by members of this community in the preparation of our new home, and for the thousands of tiny blessings that grace our lives every day. I commit to slowing down so that I might witness them as the miracles that they are. Thank you, Spirit, for this day and for this amazing life. In closing our Taizé this morning, I know and fully accept the graceful unfolding of my word in form and experience, as a prayer spoken is a prayer answered. And so I release it now to the power and presence of Spirit, simply letting it be. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. So as we re-enter our awareness into the space, connecting once again with our bodies, looking around to greet those who are here with us this morning, some who came in as we were beginning, and giving thanks for the spiritual family. So as we close our Taizé meditation, we offer the opportunity for you to share of your abundance in support of the work that we're doing in the world. If you're joining us online, you can go to mysticheart.org and you will find a donate button and a mailing address. And we thank you in advance for your gifts. They do lift and support the work we're doing, the move we're making, and whatever is next for us when that is complete. And so today we offer for you a magical world.
Tulips that spring, abracadabra from gardens in May. Blackbirds that sing, glad incantations to summon the day. Babies that grow, presto, into sweet boys and little laughing, twirling girls. Such are the facts of life in this magical world. A dazzling place where life can be hard, but it's hard to complain. When sunbeams change to diamonds on the water and rainbows in rain, and light of the moon which makes lovers swoon as they stroll down the Champs-Élysées. Je t'aime, they say, give a kiss in this magical world. Skyrocket smiles in July and tender December Noels, as old Father Time is ceaselessly, endlessly spinning his spell. The days and the years appearing from nowhere and vanishing into thin air. Lovely and red, each a magnificent pearl, a shimmering flower unfurled.
And so we just say thank you for these gifts as they're given. We know that they come of the source, but they come through your lives, through your hearts, through your hands, and they're given gracefully and graciously, and we receive them in kind. And so it is. So we invite you to get something warm to drink if you'd like, and come back for some conscious conversation that went a very unexpected direction this morning. And we're going to bless you on your way with a soul's blessing. Also, as we're completing, there will be people here working all week. So if you want to come and lend a hand as we're approaching our final 2 weeks, just give me a text. Well, I'll be in and out Monday, and I don't know if anyone else will be laying carpet Monday. So somebody's got to be there. So I'll be doing that, but you're welcome anytime.
May your soul always find what it's looking for. May your heart always lead the way. May you live in peace and harmony, and may love always fill your day. May your path be strewn with happiness. May success find you everywhere. May you always embrace compassion and grace, and may God always answer your prayer. May you always embrace compassion and grace, and may God always answer your prayer.
Thank you for joining us here this morning.
So I humbly stand before you and welcome you back into conscious conversation where our divinity and our humanity meet in practicality. So we share our wisdom, our shared wisdom. We share our love. We share our thoughts. And we enjoy each other's company as we sit in the joyful presence of God. And so it is. Amen.
It is. Thank you, Chris. Always such beautiful prayers to open our space. Don't forget we share our lunch. And we share our music. Good morning and welcome, or welcome back. Welcome to those joining online. If you're new with us here this morning, I'm Diana Johnson, pastor here at Mystic Heart, and we're an independent interfaith community. We share universal principles and practical spirituality. And we welcome you to join us in exploring the guidance and wisdom of your own mystic heart. So let's begin our conscious conversation with a little bit of upbeat musical prayer. Feel free to sing along, get up and dance and move if you want. Oh.
Welcome to the Mystic Heart. Join the celebration. Lift your voice and sing your part. Join this affirmation. Spirit made us family with loving hearts to share. Together
October, we have a harvest chant. Gonna go through it about 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our hands will work for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the land. Our hands will work for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the land. Our hands will work for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the land. Last full time through. Our hands will work for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather round the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the land. Gather round the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the land. Gather round the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the land. Woohoo! Woo! Harvest time, harvest time. So let's take a creative journey together, bringing our full awareness, full power of spirit into our vision for a love-soaked world. Engaging the body. See and feel with me now a world in which all beings live from their highest potential, from kindness and generosity, from love and compassion, from joy and beauty and peace. In this world of our creation, all people honor and respect and care for one another and for all creatures, all of creation, and for this beautiful Mother Earth that sustains us all. We remember that we're connected to all of life. Feel that connection now. We remember that we're dependent on the planet for our very sustenance. We're dependent on one another for a sense of belonging and bringing meaning into our lives. And so by aligning every thought, word, and action with our vision, we are creating a world in which all people are well fed, in which all people have the safety and comfort of home and a deep sense of purpose and belonging. A world in which health and education and healthy relationships are well supported by social systems that are grounded in integrity and wholeness. Valuing every being for its uniqueness, we practice living truly authentic lives, where vulnerability is welcomed and celebrated. There's no need to defend or protect ourselves from anything or anyone. The work we're doing within ourselves shows up as a world free of violence and hatred. We recognize and appreciate the abundance that surrounds us in every moment. Greed is a thing of the past. Generosity is the norm, and all beings gratefully receive all that's needed to live physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually fulfilling lives. The planet and its beings thrive like never before as we recognize the sacred in everyone and in everything. We walk with reverence, we walk with humility, we walk with gratitude for all that we've been given. We're creating a new world moment by moment as we align our actions with our vision, living these changes first in our own lives, with our families, our friends, our neighbors, and our communities. And one neighborhood at a time, one community at a time, a new world is being born. In this process of profound change, this beloved community stands as an open and welcoming place for all who seek support, belonging, and family. By the power of our deep faith and by the power of our inspired action, this prayer is acted upon even as it is spoken. For Spirit knows our heart's desire and our pure intent. So in full expectation of its graceful unfolding, and with the deepest humility and gratitude, we release this prayer to the infinite and powerful presence that I call God, Spirit, the all that is. To the one that gets it done. The one that gets it done. And so it is. Yeah. Amen. A little adjustment. Feels good. So our theme this month, as I welcome you this morning, is wild wisdom. And the topic of conversation this morning is taking a mountain view. So this morning during Taizé, I reflected on some of the things that we can learn from a mountain, or from the mountain. We contemplated the strength and the power, the constancy, the resiliency of a mountain. We considered the mountain as metaphor for challenge in our lives, but a challenge that we are meant to overcome. We looked at it as metaphor for a more elevated state of consciousness. We looked at the mountain's enduring nature, but considered how despite its apparent constancy, it's forever changing in little micro amounts all the time, every day. It's forever evolving. And we reflected on the God's eye view, the big picture that we are offered when we're willing to climb the mountain, either physically or the mountain of greater awareness. That was a really short recap of all that we did. So if you're interested, go back online after this evening and it'll be there. But for our conversation today, I had an unexpected direction come my way for this conversation. I was still sitting through all the work we did this week with, where do you go with the conversation? Where is it supposed to go? And so just yesterday, I got an answer as I sat in meditation. And Spirit, what do you have in mind for the conversation? And I got wisdom from Walton's Mountain.
Like that.
And I said, what? And I got wisdom from Walton's Mountain. So, let's see where this goes. Oh my goodness. How many of you remember the television show called The Waltons? Anybody remember that?
Love that show.
I remember it. It's an oldie, an oldie.
Daughter still watches it.
Yes, I'm so happy to hear that. It might not surprise you if you know me to know that that was my very favorite television show on the planet, and probably still is. Probably still is. I'm kind of a sappy sort of a person, but I really aligned with the emotional intelligence that was modeled in that show, and with the spiritual lessons that were constantly being taught in that show. Can anyone explain briefly what the show was about for those who don't remember it or know
It was family and how important it was, brother and sister and mother and father and grandparents all living in the same house, creating their reality, and then they were involved in their community, and they did things for everybody, and everybody, you know, they were always, their house was always open.
Nice. Thank you.
That's love.
Anything to add to that?
I think another significant piece is it was set during the Depression.
Okay.
Yes.
So they really taught about how to work together as a family to
Right.
get through this rough spot.
Okay. So it was a Depression era representation. Anything else?
There was a time where you had your grandparents help with the children,
Okay.
and then also the children helped take care of the grandparents.
Right.
A family unity. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of family unity, family, those kinds of communal living, caretaking in the community, family, community.
Like
values.
us here.
Like us here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Take care of us.
Maybe that's where this place came from.
It could have.
Who's John Boy?
Who's John? That would be the question. So it was a long-running program. It went 9 seasons, and it had the same cast all the way through.
Mhm.
And they lived in rural Virginia on Walton's Mountain. It had been in the family forever. The show was developed by a guy named Earl Hamner, who developed it patterning the character John Boy after his own life. So it was kind of a autobiographical show. What kinds of lessons, for those who were familiar with it, what kinds of lessons, other lessons were taught on this show? So we got community, family, community support,
Communication.
communication,
Working things out.
working things out,
Humility.
humility.
Mhm.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff in that show.
Togetherness.
Togetherness. Okay. It was packed with spiritual lessons and, as I said, examples of what emotional intelligence in a family and in a community looks like. It combined a cultural Southwest Baptist, that was the spiritual tradition in the family, but it wasn't fundamentalist at all, and there were characters in the family, the father and the grandfather, who were more, they were universalist, I would say, in their approach, which caused problems with mom and grandma sometimes. It brought up the New Deal kind of inspired social gospel, so it was talking about that history of the time. And it pointed toward humanity's need for an inherent spirituality. It tackled some heavy topics like family struggles and joys, issues of faith.
It's interesting that it's as much as Pa and Grandpa were allergic to church, it was always Grandpa that prayed and preached on the
Pray
show.
and preach, yes. Very funny. Yeah, so they touched on a lot of issues of faith. And racial relationships. They addressed that quite often. And forgiveness and how that works. They looked at old age. They looked at death. They looked at disease and war and discrimination. So every show had 1 or 2 real core topics that they addressed. And it demonstrated the power of love and kindness in times of crisis. It was big on painting what that can look like. There was always a message in the show. So there was a quote that I found from one episode as I'm going, how do I do a Sunday on this? I don't know. But John Walton, the father, makes this comment. He says, there are a lot of people walking around feeling very disappointed and unhappy about life. They were counting so much on their future that they forgot to live their lives.
Very powerful.
Boy, that's not a mouthful.
So what comes up around that when you listen to that statement? There are a lot of people walking around feeling very disappointed and unhappy about life. They were counting so much on their future they forgot to live their lives. David?
Well, a lot of folks either are looking at the past or looking at the future and miss the whole presence of what's happening
Right.
now.
Yeah.
And so you kind of miss life.
You miss it.
Yeah,
You blink. And whoa,
there it goes.
when did I turn 60? Okay. Yeah. So do we need to plan for our future? I'm sorry, Chris.
That's okay. Well, it's kind of like you said in Taizé, we sometimes get so focused on the destination that we forget that the journey is
Right.
where it's at.
One of the lessons of the mountain from Taizé is it's about the journey, not so much the destination, although there is a point of destination maybe, but it's not about getting there, it's about what we see and experience along the way. But don't we need to plan for our future? Cinda?
We need to plan for our future, but we do not need to live there.
Okay. All right.
I think planning for the future is what steps we are taking in the present moment that are going to create our outcome about, in this case, getting to the mountain. It's still one step at a time and navigating and making decisions about. So we create our future in those moments.
So in the very present moment times, we're creating what will then become, again, our present, but from that perspective, would have been the future that we're planning. So there's a balance, you're saying, between the future, planning for the future and being present in the moment. David?
So you might want to bring a map with you.
You might want a map, yeah. James?
I've been challenged in trying to and plan for the future, in that my future, I don't necessarily know what it's going to be. And so I'm trying to create this future, like Chris is saying, but for all I know, it's going to adapt. So
Right.
as the more I try and create the future, the less flexible I am in what the future can become.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that level of attachment to the future, if I'm not present, then I don't even notice that maybe I don't want that future anymore.
Yeah.
Right. You might not even want that when you get there.
Right.
It shows up.
Well done.
Michael?
It brings up the fact that we are often under the illusion that we have control
Of the future. Yes, that illusion of control.
This question reminds me of, in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus talking about, consider the lilies of the field and the birds of the air, and take no thought for the future, And I don't think he's saying don't plan for the future. I'm thinking he's saying don't worry about the future. Don't, and certainly don't sell out all your emotional and spiritual energy today for what may or may not happen in your future.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with saving for this or would like to have that or whatever. And I know it drives people, especially those that are with me, crazy that I don't ever think about the future, nor do I worry about it. And I figure I'll deal with it when I get there. Right? And that kind of translates into, well, you don't want anything? I said, no, everything I want I have, like right now.
yeah.
I'm building it now. Why would my kids, let's say I get old and I need assistance, why would my children want to help me if I was never there for them when they were little and all I did was, give them resentment? How about I work on that now, being the best parent I can be, and then hopefully later on they will want to take care of me. I don't, whatever it is, but
Yeah.
I don't really put a lot of stock in this future.
Yes, that's true. Excuse me just a second. Chris, go ahead.
I think Chris was first.
Okay, Chris, go ahead. Chris, go ahead.
I think that the lilies of the field and the birds have an inherent nature, as do we. And if we allow that to unfold in time, that our needs are going to be met as we allow ourselves to live authentically and fully in our nature.
Yeah, and I think that was the point of that biblical story, is that the needs are met as they arise, with faith and with attention. Sister Chris?
Yeah.
That's great.
In preparing for the future, it can be hard to feel satisfied with the present, or can feel like you're putting up with what's going on in the present to get to some future goal that you have.
Right.
And on the other side, not preparing for the future means when it gets there, you don't know what's coming, you don't know what you need to feel safe in a new situation, unless you've prepared or done something to be ready for that, for those changes. So it's kind of about finding the balance of how do you take care of yourself in the moment, how do you make sure you have what you need for tomorrow.
that walk, huh?
Tricky walk.
Tricky walk. Brenda, will you just, no? Okay.
Just grab-
Michael?
I think so much focus on the future, you lose gratitude for what you have right now.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a big mistake.
Yeah, with your eye always on the future, you lose sight of the gratitude that you might be having for what you have right now. Chris?
I heard somebody speaking on that, consider the birds of the air. Says they'll be provided for. He says that doesn't mean God drops food into their nest.
No.
They still have to go out
They
there and
still
do
have
the
to go
work.
get it. That's right. So where does faith come into all of this? Bob and then Jay.
Well, as he's going up the mountain with treacherous switchbacks and all, he knew he had to be in the present and watch where he stepped, or he could fall to his death, I guess. And, you know, if he constantly thought, where's the future? I come up here and see the good stuff in there, but he took one step at a time, watching
Right.
where he stepped, and made it on up there. So,
Yeah, when you're heading up that mountain path, you can look at the point you're headed, but you have to watch where your feet are if you want to get there, right?
The future and present.
Yes.
I was gonna say, so I'm planning for the future, I'm looking ahead, but I don't necessarily know exactly what's gonna happen in the future.
Right.
So I wanna trust that as I show up to the future, and it becomes the now, even if I haven't prepared sufficiently, I can adapt, I can, my resiliency, I will adjust, I will become what I need to become to
Yeah.
move through that new present future that is now present.
So that's the place of faith in
Right.
that whole dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lucinda?
Well, I'm thinking back to what Bob was saying, and faith is, as you're going up that mountain, holding the faith that the next step you take is going to be a firm one,
Mm-hmm.
that it's not going to slip out from underneath your feet like sometimes rocks fall.
Right.
So faith is knowing that that path all the way up to the mountain is going to be firm and it's going to stay there.
Okay, so, so building your faith is having faith that the path and the places you step are going to be firm and hold your weight. What things are we doing spiritually in our lives to make sure that our path is solid and that where we step is going to hold us?
Mindfulness, being
Mindfulness.
mindful of where you are right now
Yeah.
to get to where your intended goal is, what your intention is, to being mindful.
So we begin with mindfulness.
Well, I don't know about you, but I don't think I would go climb Mount Shasta right now. I would probably climb some smaller stuff first, get some
Right.
experience, do some practice,
Uh-huh.
then get some knowledge about what I need. Then I probably still wouldn't go climb Mount Shasta, but
Right.
I'd feel more prepared if I had to.
Yes.
You know, you don't just leap out into the
Right.
the largest thing without gathering some skills and some knowledge and practicing.
Right.
You know, you don't run a marathon without running the block first, you know.
So start where you are.
Yeah,
And build slowly. There's a song Michael Franti does called Start Small, Think Big. That's good advice, I think. Yeah, James?
I'd say spiritually, I'd start with, making sure I was prepared in my practice, by being diligent in my practice and taking care of my body, making sure that I was well rested and I was ready for what was to come, to
Yeah.
be able to tell if the ground ahead of me is
Right.
solid.
Yeah, start with the basics.
Yeah.
Gotta take care of this vehicle that we're given, right? So we're taught to store away today's treasure in our society. Store away today's treasure for tomorrow's pleasure. But as April was pointing out, at what cost? You know, we can get caught up in tomorrow, and it may never even arrive for it. We never know. We don't know what our life holds. So as I'm contemplating that, you know, the questions came up, what good is retirement if we've alienated our children in the process of working too many hours, spending their childhood working for a better tomorrow, and then they're gone and we're, you know, what good is that? What good is saving for a dream home if we sacrifice vacations and weekend trips with our kids or friends or other family members so that we can lay the foundation, you know, for a future somewhere that we're uncertain about? So it's that dance in between. It's taking care of the relationships along the way while we're still keeping, you know, we're not being irresponsible, we're keeping our eye on the future, and we're having faith that when we get to whatever that is, what we need will be there. Lucinda?
Well, I was also thinking in terms of how we're busy building that future and everything, and working overtime and doing all that stuff, and not spending time with the kids because we're building the future.
Mhm.
What lessons are we teaching the kids?
Exactly. Yeah. I got a powerful lesson in that along the way, and I won't share it now because my son's here. That wouldn't be nice. It was a lesson for me, but something that happened that made me realize I had done just that. It's like, what did I teach? Oh my goodness.
So, I learned when you walk, walk. When you think, think.
Mm-hmm.
And it builds faith. Like April was saying, so when I get to wherever I get to, even if the ground is not as steady, I have faith that I will adjust.
Yes.
And like that show, what I can remember is it was always full of grace, no matter what
Yes.
happened.
Yes.
Grace and gratitude, and
Yeah.
the good, the bad, and the ugly. It was just, they always had emanated grace.
Yeah, they did. They did. David?
Well, I think I remember a song that kind of laid it out very well, and it was Harry Chapin playing a cat in a cradle.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
That kind
powerful
of hit
song.
this exact point of
Yeah,
how you're living.
right.
I just got goosebumps.
Oops. And Chris and then April.
Yeah, that question reminded me of your father, and I think we all know somebody like this who retired just in time to pass away.
Right, yeah.
They put off
Yeah.
retirement and, you know, just need a few
Yeah.
more dollars in the bank, and then, you know, they
Yeah.
retire.
And that was that.
Yeah.
Yeah. April.
I was just gonna say, you know, all of us have probably memories of who our parents were, you know, no matter what those memories feel like. But even as a parent, like, even so young, they notice. They know. You know, they know who's around, they know who's doing this, and even now at 4, you know, our daughter will say, yeah, you know, like this person's, you know, they never come around because they're working or whatever. Or, are you finally done working? Because
Yeah.
I come home on my lunch and they only have an hour and they're like, are you leaving again? You're going, are you done finally working when I come home? And I'm like, yeah, and they get all happy, you know, because
Yeah.
now I'm present, now I'm there. Now it's mom this, mom that, mom, right for the rest of the day. But the way they talk about other adults in their life, you know, the kids were mimicking everybody's voices. They did yours, they did, and then we asked them to do one specific voice, and like, what about this person? And the sentence that was said was like, no, right now I'm working. So that tells you they are absorbing everything, and as they get older, they're gonna come to see you. Like, I think Cherie was talking last when she was leading. She was saying, you know, how she was still holding people to the standard of the past, and she was still thinking her mom was late all the time, even though she hadn't been for a long time. And it's hard to break that once you ingrain those things in your kids, how you are.
Yeah, wire those things into your neurology.
I don't want my kids to think I'm the person that's never present,
Right.
never there.
Yeah. James?
So in our current culture, I find it challenging to step away from work as this thing that we're doing for life. It's become an identity thing for many of us, like our career. I mean, it's even at the risk of being a man saying this, in the feminist movement, there was a push to be a career. Have a career made you someone.
Right,
And so now if I retire, I'm no longer that someone.
right.
So I never retire, I always work, so now I'm someone.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a trap.
There's a thing there
It's
that's,
a trap.
I know people in my industry that's who they are.
Yeah,
You know,
Right.
Their job is who they are.
yeah.
As a woman who's actually spent a lot of my time just supporting the family, it's sometimes hard to find value in it and to say that
Yeah.
I'm someone or that I
Yeah.
have enough to offer.
Right.
You know, you look at my potential retirement from the time that I did work.
At the time that you were paid a
Paid.
paycheck
Paid
for
paycheck
the job,
for
right,
working,
right.
yeah.
And there's, you know, not much to show.
Right.
Not much to depend on
Yeah.
or to estimate
Yeah.
of my overall contribution to the world,
Right,
if we're looking at the dollars and cents of it.
yeah,
But knowing, you know, our own inherent worth and learning to take pride and ability and actually, you know, uphold your own self
yeah.
based on those contributions.
Knowing your own inherent value.
A journey of its own.
Yes, it is a journey on its own.
The value of the family, though, like April said, the value of the kids and the relationships, the longevity in that.
Right, yeah,
The dollars, forget it.
yeah, right. I got David first, then Chris, then April. Got hands, yay.
Well,
All right.
referring to the retirement thing, I kind of gave that up and just said, I'm retreading. Yeah, 'cause that way I'm just not out of the picture, I'm doing something different.
Not retiring, I'm retreading.
I just want to say that definitely even at 20, there is such a social expectation and pressure to be completely focused on education and a career and just like completely devoted to deciding what to do with the
Yeah.
next 40 years of your life.
Right, wow, because that's,
And
because you're gonna change a lot in those 40 years.
I know,
Yes.
and it's hard to both like give in a little bit to that pressure and make some plans, make some choices that I think will benefit me into the future. But also remember, hey, the friends I have now are important. The place I am now is important.
Right.
This isn't just like a temporary, like, oh, I'm here for a couple years, now I'm gone, and my life actually starts. This is my life.
Right.
I'm still alive right now. I'm not prepping for a life that's going to come later.
Right, yeah.
So there's that conflict there.
Just don't lose your violin along the way.
All right, I'll try not to.
I think that you should make a bumper sticker that says, "This is my life."
Yeah,
I think it would be a great awakening for people.
T-shirt.
A T-shirt, yeah.
You know, I look at it when I'm at work, I have this mindset of, I live in this society, so I have to play a certain, you know, game in this society in order to get those imaginary green papers that allow me goods and
Right.
services, right? But I always have explained it when I'm like teaching other people at work or to myself is, I make a decision to sell portions of my lifetime to this place. I don't care what that place is. I need those green papers so that I can go home and live my life. But while I am there, I have sold 8 hours of my life to this place for this certain amount of money.
Yeah.
So that I can live my life. And how much of that is my own choice.
Right.
How much of my life I'm willing to sell.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And while I'm there, it helps me not complain
Right.
about anything.
Yeah.
Because I take the money, I sign the contract. This
Right.
is your time. You want me to wear this stupid red shirt for those 8 hours? Okay. You want me to do this for those 8 hours? Okay. Whatever it is. Because I have made that adult agreement
Right.
to sell you 8 hours of my life.
who you are might change a million times.
Mhm.
How many of us in here have degrees we're not using because they were accumulated for a future that we wanted, that we decided we didn't want?
Yeah,
And how much of our lifetime did we put into earning those things?
right.
You know, I know people who've got 5 master's degrees and they're driving the monorail.
Right.
It's like, that stuff will change all the time, but who you are in your life,
Right.
that's up to you.
And I know about you, you're an example of, while you're selling your time for those magic green things, you bring the best of yourself into service where you are
Yeah.
as you're doing it, even though it may not be what you want to be doing for the rest of your life.
Be happy with your choices.
Right.
And that's very important. You touch a lot of lives along the way in a wonderful way, and inspire people in a wonderful way.
One more.
Okay. This idea of putting off your life until later has its parallel in the fundamentalist Christian idea of deny yourself while you're on earth
Yeah.
for your
For our
heavenly
treasures
life
in
later
heaven.
on.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a projection from that
Yeah, it could be.
work ethic or that.
Yeah, it could be a cultural development that comes from the fact that we were founded, at least the white people that came here, brought with them that Christianity, this Christian ethic. And maybe that's just an outpicturing in our culture that came from that. So another topic that was frequently covered was that damaged or broken relationships are painful, but almost any damaged or broken relationship can be repaired if both people want it to be. So that was commonly done between family members and neighbors and community members. What does it take to repair broken relationships, other than both people wanting them to be repaired?
Willing to
Patience.
forgive.
Willingness to forgive, patience,
Humility.
humility,
Willing to look at it and change.
willingness, change.
Yeah.
Willingness to look at it and be willing to change.
Building on that, the awareness of your role in that broken relationship.
The awareness of your own role in that broken relationship. Was that you or was that you? Let's do Miley first. Okay.
Let her go.
The
Yeah.
willingness to see each other's perspective.
Okay, the willingness to see each other's perspective.
I'm gonna say acceptance and flexibility,
Mm-hmm.
and not, maybe the relationship won't be the same,
Right,
but you can come to a new place possibly.
yeah,
So maybe
acceptance,
maturity.
flexibility. Maturity, ooh, I like that one.
Grace, compassion
Grace, compassion
for yourself and the other.
for yourself and for the other.
Love.
Love,
Yeah, build off of love and say like a desire to make that relationship
mm-hmm.
the goal.
The desire to make that relationship the goal. So it's intentional and it's dedicated, yeah.
Also, I think to be able to know how to learn or know how to set safe boundaries in that relationship.
Right, okay, setting safe boundaries in a relationship. Did someone say humility already?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to be sure we touched on humility and then again on humility. So, the Walton family in the story commented on resiliency in difficult times all through their storylines, but it also spoke to the promotion of general well-being, overall general well-being. So there were 6 lessons that I just want to go through really quickly. We can have conversation around them. So the first lesson that I noticed was spend time outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Spend time outdoors. I found one comment that was online. It said, the Waltons spent a good part of their days outdoors. Whether they were walking to school or town, climbing Walton Mountain or fishing, they respected and enjoyed nature's beauty. Breathing in fresh mountain air and enjoying the sunshine The Waltons were probably never in need of extra vitamin D or time at the gym.
Right.
Waltons drew life and health from the outdoors. It's a good reminder for us to get a daily dose of outside, of nature, of fresh air. How much time are you spending in nature on a daily
Not
basis?
enough.
A lot.
A lot. Good, not enough.
Until you live outside.
It also inspires or energizes you.
Yes, it inspires and energizes you.
Planet waves.
Talk about the Waltons not needing to belong to a gym. They had a sawmill.
They had a sawmill. Yeah. So oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, all of this reminds me of nature is the church.
Nature is the
is
church.
being in communion with God, and you don't have to go to a building
Right.
or a room
Yeah.
specifically.
Right.
But that is the room, that is the building.
Yeah. Yeah, in their life, that spiritual sense of church was more about community and reaching out to their greater community.
Exactly.
Except for Grandma, she got a little bit fundamentalist.
Really?
That's all right.
She was a little grumpy.
So, lesson 2, spend time with family. Now, whether that is your birth family, or whether that is your chosen family, your very close friends that you consider family, your adopted family, people that you feel close to, take the time to spend close time with those people. How much time are we making for family of whatever form? Do we make other people a priority at least part of the time? How are we being in service to those other people? How are we doing with our self-assessment? You doing all right? Yeah, good. Yeah, we have a lot of service-oriented people here. All right, lesson 3. Eat fresh food in moderate portions. You notice their table? Have you ever saw the shows? They grew everything that they ate. And there was always enough, but nobody was heaping a plate. And if one of the kids started to, they'd get the look. Share. Lesson 4, enjoy your work and make time to play. How are we doing with that one? I'm having a little trouble with the play right now, but I'm aware of it and I'm working that direction.
Well, I found it's not really work if you're enjoying what you're doing.
That's true.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna make that.
Yeah, I would call my gardening playtime. Not everyone here would call it playtime. But I love to play in the soil.
And I joke and tease while I work at the job.
Yeah, so you can make your work play if you choose to. They did demonstrate a strong work ethic on that show, but they also enjoyed their different crafts and their chores. They took on the ones they loved, and they found satisfaction in doing a good job. And when the work was done, they made time to relax. They went down to the river, they went swimming, they went fishing. They went out to play, they played music. Good balance. All right, lesson 5, get plenty of rest after saying goodnight to the ones you love. If they're not with you, meet them in the imaginal realm. Meet them in prayer. Give thanks. They don't have to be present right next to you for you to do that. Yes?
Meet them in dreams.
Meet them in dreams. Yes. So you can say, Grandma's no longer around. Good night, Grandma. You can pull that to mind and heart. Yeah. Good night, Mary Ellen. Good night, John Bull. Lesson 6, finally, be mindful. We've covered this a lot today. Be mindful and thankful. That lesson was present throughout the storylines of that show. Be mindful and grateful for the bounty in your life. Mindful and grateful for the community that surrounds you. And there was a quote from John Boy, "I think if we learned to listen, we could hear all kinds of miracles." So being mindfully present and thankful feeds you and feeds your health, your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health on so many levels. You just never know what you're going to get when you walk into this room. Isn't that? I think it's fun. Is there anything else that wants to be shared this morning?
I think the main thing that draws me to the Waltons is you can't help but see their family values in action.
Right.
What they value as,
Yeah.
as a family is they wear it right on their sleeves and they act from it. It's the thread that runs through everything they do.
Yeah, it was really well written for that purpose and well acted and well done.
I seem to remember an episode where Mary Ellen was working in a doctor's office. She wanted to be a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And the lesson from that was to be aware of who you are, be okay with who you are, and not try to be someone else.
Right.
Because she started giving medical advice to people.
Yeah.
Just be who
Yeah.
you are. That's
Right.
good.
Yeah. I literally, as a young child, and I still have the very visceral sense now when the song comes on, I just, something goes through my body that says, I'm home. It's like this is my family. It's the weirdest thing to have a television show feel like going home to your family. It's a strange thing. All right, well, let's join in sacred practice right now. My prayer for the mountain, these words of affirmation of truth, let them be an affirmation of truth in your own life. Allow the deep peace and contentment of spirit to fill you now as we settle into a state of calm, settling into the gentle cycles of the breath. The gentle but powerful cycles of breath. The constancy of those cycles. I reflect on the powerful presence of the one life. I feel it moving in me now. I sense its omnipresence in the room and throughout all of what we know as space. I am, each one of us is most certainly a part of it, an expression of its radiant light, here on purpose, here by design. I reflect on all that the mountain has to teach me. Strength, constancy, patience. No matter the storm, it will certainly pass in time. In any circumstance, all that is required is a God's eye view, a higher perspective than my own tunnel vision. I am humbled by the mountains. They are so massive, while I am so small in comparison. And yet, as I look to the mountains that surround my beautiful hometown, I'm reminded of my inherent resiliency. I'm not caught up in the workings of my thinking mind. Rather, I let my thoughts move gracefully through without attachment. I allow myself to be taught as those who followed Yeshua to the mountaintop. Under the steadfast instruction of the mountain, I become more loving, inclusive, and generous with every day that goes by. And I spend time daily in conscious connection with my Creator, being reminded of my wholeness and my oneness with all that is. I am reminded of the slow but constant thread of time, of change, forever happening. What a powerful teacher is our Sacred Mother. When I take the time to slow down and look for her wild wisdom. I'm so grateful for my growing awareness. So grateful for this space to gather with chosen family. And for each one sharing this space this morning. I give thanks for the countless hours of sacred service that are offered by members of this community in the preparation of our new home. And for the thousands of tiny blessings that grace our lives every day. I commit to slowing down so that I might witness all of these as miracles, the miracles that they are. Thank you, Spirit, for this day and for this amazing life. And in closing Taizé this morning, I know and fully accept the graceful unfolding of my word in form and experience. As a prayer spoken is a prayer answered. And so I release it now to the power and presence of Spirit, simply letting it be. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen. That was fun. At least I thought that was fun. I hope you thought that was fun. And I hope it left something for you to think about, even more so than the fun. So I invite you to join us in celebration of the work we're doing by sharing of your financial good to support that work, should you choose to do that. And if you're at home, you can go to mysticheart.org to find a donate button or a mailing address. As we receive your gifts today, we're going to celebrate playing music together, because we can. And the way we're going to celebrate is to do a couple of songs for you today. We've done these prior with another participant, with Gary, but with Gary not joining us now, our beloved Christopher A. J. is stepping in with us, so enjoy.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. Which path leads to the end of war? Our humanity can stop this fight. Now walk away, walk away. Walk away. fighting today, walk away. I won't be fighting today, walk away.
I love it. All right. Wrap your arms around the world, will you?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Give a little love and hope that you can give enough. What'll it be? All we have to do is simply love, 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 love. We've got to love, 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 love. And wrap your arms around the world. 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 Na 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 Clap your hands. We got to understand one of these days. All we gotta do is simply love, 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 love. We've got to love, love, love. And wrap your arms around the world. 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 Give a little love and hope that you can give enough. What'll it be? All we have to do is simply love, 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 love. We've got to love, 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 love. And wrap your arms around the world. Wrap your arms around the world. Wrap your arms around the world. Wrap your arms.
All right, go Nana with us.
And wrap your arms around the world. Wrap your arms around the world. Wrap your arms around the world. Wrap your arms around the world.
I never thought I'd say this with Mr. Chris Johnson on lead vocal.
That was lovely. Thank you. And you know, it's really wonderful that all of you are wrapping your arms around this community and one another. And I give thanks for that. And your gifts of time, talent, and treasure. It does good work in the world, and it does good work for each one of us and for yourself. We are blessings to one another. I give thanks, and so it is. Amen.